Hello everyone. I hope you are doing fine. And in this opportunity, I would like to explain my part, which is related to writing a research proposal by Jen Allen. And I'm so thankful for Carla that has already started explaining about the details um, aspects in writing a research proposal. And as for my part, I would like to give you some basic ideas what is actually a research proposal and what it deals with and how to write it and what we need to prepare before and how to make uh, informative a research proposal. So let's start. Okay. As a students or the graduate students, both master and doctoral programs, they are they have a requirement to write a project which is called as a thesis, or it's a general term thesis. And for master students, and the other hand is dissertation for doctoral programs. And this requirement, um, before they fulfill these requirements, they need to write the proposal. They need to write a topic for their research. They need to write something that they are going to conduct for their final study, which is called as a research proposal, or a planned research, on or another word we call this a prospectus. So there are um, many names, different association, but it it's all going back or refers to the same reference, which is a final project or final project or a research project or a topic that students need to write before they conduct the research. They have to write this proposal. It is really crucial for those two students before, based on their proposal, the committee of the doctorals or the master program, they will know what students planned, what the students to are going to conduct for their research. And as a research proposal itself, they've been coined in a different or in a various way, like in the faculty or in the humanities and social science programs, we are really familiar with the names of a research proposal. Students coming from this program, they are familiar with this term. But what about the sciences and engineering students or programs? Do they also have um, uh, the same reference, like a research proposal? Um, in their program or in sciences and engineering program, mostly students can be or can be part of the advisor's ongoing research. So the students need not to write, or they don't have to write any paper in relevance to a research proposal, as like what the students from humanities and social science program. They mostly do a collaborative research as a group, and They could also be part of the lab policies of research assignments, like what the existing policies that the students could be able to join to this part of this uh, um, assignments policies, as well as um, in these situations when sciences and engineering program, they could be freely write, or they could freely write um, any topic without a conventional proposal framework, like what the humanities and social science program um, do. So it tends to be informal, and since the students are involved or they are engaging in a part of the collaborative research community, the steps or um, the milestones of students development when they are conducting a research, it tends to be more organic. We can, or the supervisor um, can see the students' development, and this also um, this this can be based of a student's thesis development, or as well as dissertation progresses. So in sciences and engineering programs, this could be um, more um, more informal, let's say, and they could be participate, or they could participate in advisors' ongoing research. So what about, or what should we do for, or when we are going to write a research proposal of theses or dissertations? So the first, you need to have a topic that you are going to conduct for the research. And then what else? If you already found the topic, and then compile the reading list as much or as many as possible. It could be books, it could be articles, it could be many things related to the information that connect with the topics. And then after you have already conducted all the reading list, then you organize the reading list by broad to narrow topic areas. You can identify research questions, um, or you can do analyzing in finding your novelty or originality. So this organizing reading list is really useful to support this part. And then find newest published or soon to republish articles in the specialized topics. So if you are doing an online searching, then you know what you are going to conduct related to the topic that you like for your research, or you are comfortable with your research. Then collecting the newest publication may also help you. And then after you do this things, then take some notes. It's really important. You could do this by typing in your laptops, or in your, if you have daily books notes. It is also useful. Then when you are finding something, then you just look write and look into your notes. So that's the preparation. So where to start after this? The first, here I categorize into three parts. The first is the introduction, um, the literature review, and then methods. In a part of the introduction, the information that must be there are the followings: research questions or your hypothesis, if it is possible, and then a realistic explanation in assessing research materials or equipment to complete the project in a reasonable amount of time. So there's maybe you could explain in a very detail but logically how you manage your research in a very short time or in a very certain time, I mean. And then in the second part is the literature review. So try to find the relevant empirical studies that relate to your topics, or historical or philosophical or cultural context uh, of the research studies. And then the last part is a method. So here you need to state your approach, like whether it deals with experiments, surveys, observations, fieldwork, or archive research, or other approach that you are going to use for your research. And then section discussing whether your um, studies whether your study is a quantitative or a qualitative. So these three components must be there when you are uh, starting to write your research proposal. So what else? We also need to think about uh, information that must be submitted to the research committee. Let's say if you are doctoral students, then it's really also important uh, to note, like the purpose of your study, including your research question and hypothesis. Yeah. And I think it's also um, it's also crucial, and uh, you could write it down in the introduction parts, and then detail of your methods, like in a research method parts, and then method for recruiting participants. So how you achieve the subject or participants and task, and then time commitment and compensations, if any, for participants, and how you cope if you find difficulties, and how you solve this. And then demographic or personal information you will collect about or from participant. It's also sometimes crucial for a committee to know um, whether your research has reached what is it a demographic or a personal information, a fit personal information. And then plans to get informed consent from participant before starting research, and permission from parents for participant under age 18. So this also be a consideration when you are dealing with human, or with children, or with people. Then you need to have a consent for this. And then any risk of possible harm to participant, and how you will minimize or ameliorate them. So this informations may be something that the committee is needed. And then are other benefits to participating in the research, and plans to maintain confidentiality and data security. And it's also important informations when you are conducting an interview. First, when you are dealing with the human subjects, it needs an agreement from the institutional review board approval. So you will receive a letter to mention mentioning that you are appropriate to do a conduct with the human subjects. And what about when you are dealing with uh, animal? It's also it's also needed for the approval form for the institutional animal care and use committee. So this all the information that I could give to you as a basic aspect or basic a fundamental aspect of a research, how to write a research proposal. And this is a reference from the LNJ. You could also read um, the the detailed informations about this presentation. And I'll, I'm so welcoming if you have any feedback or questions. Thank you very much and hope you find this video useful.